think we like the plants from Western Australia because they're unusual. They're very different from eastern states. The colours and the textures are so different that we're just drawn to them.
Louise King and Brian Henderson live in Balnarring on Victoria's Mornington Peninsula. I'm visiting their beautiful garden, which is packed with 150 species of plants native to Western Australia. Hello, Brian.
How are you, John?
Nice to meet you.
Hi, John.
Hello, Louise. Very nice to see you.
Come in.
So this is the garden.
This is it.
Doesn't it look great? Brian and Louise, I really do think you've got a most charming garden, but seems to me like your neighbours don't all love trees the way you do.
No, they don't.
Clearing some pine trees.
Is that right?
Not great timing.
We don't mind seeing them go.
But you do have an extraordinary diversity of plants here.
We love the wildness of Western Australian plants. We love all Australian plants, but the wild beauty of Western Australian plants is really what excites us.
And do you find them really challenging to grow? Is there a pleasure in being challenged in growing plants?
Yes, they're very challenging to grow, especially in this environment. But that is part of the challenge, is what's exciting. And when you do get something that finally does grow, it's great.
Louise and Brian have had great success growing many of these native plants in pots.
We went to pots because we could grow stuff in pots that we just couldn't grow in the ground.
Is this because you needed a different sort of sand from the sand that's the dominant soil here?
The sand, which we thought was going to be fantastic, in fact, it was like growing a garden on the beach. And I suspect it just needed more gravel. It's just too fine. It's very powdery sand.
Right.
Some of these pots are up to 80% gravel.
We've got some most interesting plants here. This lovely thing over
That's
here.
Beronia.
Yes.
Beronia Muelleri.
I'm really taken by that.
It's gorgeous. That's the Diploline, Western Australian.
But you've also got some really nice stuff doing well that's not in a pot, so clearly plants do grow here. This is doing really well. It's got a lovely foliage.
Yeah, these are Darwinias. They're from Stirling Range in Western Australia, and they're really, really beautiful.
Very beautiful,
and very
aren't they?
delicate. They tend to hang down.
They're really quite lovely things,
They are
aren't
beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
What's this double-flowered
That's
one?
the double flower. That's Phylotheca verrucosa, and it's really beautiful. It's so delicate. Brian has grown that from cuttings, so it's
Homegrown?
Homegrown.
We were particularly taken by a trip to southwest WA where under the what we'd call a woodland effect, there's just a carpet of colour.
We were surprised by the effect of lots of small, delicate flowers, low-growing, all massed together. So many different pea flowers and so many really delicate flowers.
There's a couple of these palmelias, I noticed.
Yes, Quollettville.
Yeah,
yes.
they're very showy.
So this is our sort of homage to Western Australia.
I do notice that the grevilleas and the banksias seem to be particularly well represented in the garden.
They're different, they're very diverse, a range of colours.
You wouldn't want to weed around that too often, I must say.
No,
now,
that's
what's
Brian's
this?
job.
Is this another of the grevilleas?
That's Grevillea flexuosa. It's a massive flowers for a long time, so it's really good value.
Now, I'm being prickled to death, I have to tell you, by this.
That's a Dryandra polycephala.
Mm-hmm.
Again, bizarre looking plant, but so exciting just because it is so unusual.
So what sort of maintenance practices do you have to undertake on these grevilleas, banks and so on? Is it pretty consistent?
It is consistent. A lot of pruning, I think, everything in our garden. And that's partly because we put so many plants into a small space. Everything's got to be pruned.
What's outstanding about this garden is the fact that it contains so many plants. There's nearly always something in flower. Take this, Grevillea thysoides, beautiful red flowers against exquisite grey foliage. And grey foliage is a character of this, Eremophila nivea. What a plant. Down here, well, this is Leschenoltia formosa in an orange flowered form. That's not that frequent, but it certainly is beautiful. What's the secret to your success?
Well, probably just our sheer persistence. We keep on battling, and we won't, if something dies, we'll try it again, we'll learn a little bit from it, but we'll persevere.
And what do you say to those people who say to you that native plants are just dull and boring?
Yeah, I'm always astounded by people because they do. They say there's no colour in Australian gardens and they're untidy. I think just come and have a look. You know, look more closely. There is so much colour, so much diversity in Australian plants that they're just a wonder.